Ever feel like you're surrounded by people, yet you're still entirely alone? Not the I need a quiet night in kind of alone, but the profound bone deep realization that even the people who love you most don't actually see you. We live in a world that's more connected than ever, yet we're arguably the loneliest generation in history. We move across the globe for better lives, only to find that we've traded the suffocating warmth of home for a cold, sterile freedom. In her writing, Kiran Desai explores this specific modern ache in a way that feels almost uncomfortably personal. This story, The Loneliness of Sonia and Sunny, isn't just a narrative about two people. It's a surgical examination of how geography, family expectations, and the masks we wear in our romantic lives can eventually lead to a total breakdown of the self. If you've ever felt like an imposter in your own life, or wondered if your freedom was actually just a different kind of cage, this book is talking to you. Let's start with a concept Kiran Desai illustrates through Sonia's family in Allahabad. Imagine you're standing in a grand old bungalow, the air thick with the smell of marinating mutton and the sound of hundreds of crows. Everything feels permanent. But there's a catch. Your entire existence is a debt you can never repay. Desai introduces us to Dadaji, a man who single-handedly extracted his family from backwardness. He's the hero of the story, at least in his own mind. He moved the family from a life where women ate scraps in a hut to a mahogany dining table. But this rescue comes with a price tag. In this book, we see that for the children and grandchildren, like Sonia, being lucky is a burden. When Sonia is at college in Vermont, weeping into a phone booth because she's lonely, her grandfather's response isn't empathy. It's a reminder of the investment. He tells her to do jumping jacks and pick up her books. The message is clear. We suffered so you could be there, therefore. You don't have the right to be unhappy. Desai is showing us how immigrant and success-driven families often treat happiness as a luxury rather than a human right. It's the gratitude trap. You can't admit you're drowning because you're supposed to be grateful for the water. The second big idea Kiran Desai tackles is the way loneliness changes shape depending on where you are. In Allahabad, the family has no patience with loneliness. Why? Because they are never truly alone. They live in a swarm of people. Cooks, ayahs, aunts, neighbors. You can't be lonely when someone is always bringing you tea or arguing about the price of potatoes. In that world, your identity is defined by your relationship to everyone else. But then, look at Sonia in Vermont. Imagine her walking through the snow, past a library where she's the only person for miles. In the West, privacy is the ultimate goal. But Desai reveals the dark side of that privacy. It's a polar chill. Sonia discovers that when you are finally unknown, you start to disappear even to yourself. The book gives us a fascinating contrast through Sunny, a journalist in New York. He lives the dream life, a seagull apartment in Brooklyn with his girlfriend Ula. But even there, India invades his life from the other side of the world. He feels like an imposter, a spy, a liar, and a ghost. Desai is arguing that for the modern nomad, there is no true home. You're too Western for the bungalow and too Eastern for the Brooklyn brownstone. You are a translation error, walking on two legs. This leads us to the third major theme, the way we perform our identities in our romantic relationships. Think about Sunny and Ola. On the surface, they are the perfect mixed-race couple in a neighborhood that prides itself on being cool. But look closer. Their relationship is a series of tiny, exhausting negotiations. Ola treats Sunny like a weird foreigner she owns, boasting about how he slips curry into everything. Meanwhile, Sunny performs a version of civilized man at dinner, to distance himself from the bestial men back home. They aren't just two people in love. They are two people using each other to prove something about their own politics and worldviews. Desai uses the metaphor of a museum or a jewelry locker to explain this. Sonia is taken to see the family gems in a bank vault. Gems that are grayed and wrapped in crispy plastic. These treasures are symbols of a past grandeur that Sonia is expected to carry into the future. But just like the jewelry that scrapes her skin when she tries to take it off, these cultural expectations are painful. Whether it's the arranged match the family plots for Sunny and Sonia, or the experimental love Sonia finds with an older painter in the woods. Love in this book is rarely about connection. It's about possession, heritage, and the stories we tell ourselves to avoid looking at the void. Now, let's talk about what this book gets right and where it might leave you wanting more. Kiran Desai is a master of the uncomfortable truth. She is incredibly gifted at deconstructing the immigrant success story and showing the rot underneath. The way she describes the physical sensations of anxiety, like Sonia's weeping becoming diarrheal, is visceral and honest. She doesn't romanticize India, nor does she romanticize the West. However, one could argue that Desai's world is almost too bleak. Every character seems trapped in a cycle of betrayal or misunderstanding. Dadaji is a tyrant, even if he's a brilliant one. Sunny and Ola's love feels like a battlefield of microaggressions. Is there any room for genuine human warmth in Desai's universe? The book is also a meta-commentary on magic realism and Orientalism. Sonia literally writes a story about her family and wonders if she's betraying them by feeding the West what it wants to consume. This is a bold intellectual move by Desai, but it can sometimes make the narrative feel like a college thesis. It's brilliant, yes, but it occasionally keeps the reader at arm's length, much like the characters keep each other. So, what's the final word? The Loneliness of Sonia and Sunny is essential reading for anyone who has ever felt in between. If you've moved away from your hometown, if you're the first in your family to go to college, or if you've ever sat at a dinner table and felt like a complete stranger, Kiran Desai is writing for you. The book doesn't offer easy answers. It doesn't tell you that love will save you or that going home will fix your heart. Instead, it offers something better: recognition. It validates the specific modern type of loneliness that comes from having too many choices and too much history. Take a look at the gems you're carrying, the expectations your family or society has placed on you. Are you wearing them because you love them, or because you're afraid of the plummeting heart you'd feel if you put them back in the locker? Write down one thing you're doing just to please a Dadaji figure in your life. And ask yourself, if the mahogany table is really worth the silence you have to keep to sit at it. This book reminds us that while we can't escape our history, we can at least stop pretending the curry-colored coat we're wearing is a perfect fit. Thank you for watching this deep dive into Kiran Desai's world. If you found this analysis helpful, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss our upcoming explorations of literature that challenges the way we see ourselves. What's a book that made you feel seen in your loneliest moments? Let me know in the comments below. Until next time, keep reading and stay curious.